Welcome back to Horoscope TV. If you are a Taurus, or, if you share your life with a Taurus, you have definitely found the exact right place today.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot to talk about.
We really do. So, most people just check their weekly horoscope hoping for like a cosmic lottery ticket, right?
Right.
We read our sign and we just hope the charts say we'll magically stumble into a huge pile of money.
Right, or bump into true love at the grocery store or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we just wait for it to happen.
Yeah.
It's like reading a weather report that says it's going to rain money, so we just go stand in the yard with a bucket.
Yeah, which is, it's a very passive way to look at things. You're basically just waiting for a handout from the universe.
And it is a comforting thought. I mean, we all have those weeks where we just want things to be easy. We want the good stuff handed to us without doing any heavy lifting.
Oh, for sure. But then you actually look at the real astrological data, and that whole fairy tale picture just kind of fades away. Because when we analyze the charts, we aren't looking at a magic wand, we are looking at a map. And, well, a map is totally useless if you refuse to drive the car.
Oh, I love that.
The data shows that the stars provide the weather, but you still have to decide what to plant in your garden. It requires you to actively participate.
It's a two-way street. So today, we're going to take a very close look at the forecast for you, the Taurus listener, for the week of March 16 to March 22, 2026.
And we have a literal mountain of fascinating data to cover for this specific week. The sky is very, very busy.
It really is. So our mission today is to analyze the planet movements for this week. We will be looking at things like transits, moon phases, and, just where the stars are placed in the sky.
Right.
But more importantly, we're going to break down exactly what all that data means for your normal, everyday life. Your love life, your wallet, your job, and your physical health.
Because we aren't just going to list off a bunch of planets and dates. That's boring. We want to analyze why things are happening and how you can actually use this specific energy to build a better week for yourself.
Exactly. So let's set the stage a bit. When we pull back and look at the whole picture, the overall theme for you, Taurus, is a mix of two very different feelings.
Yeah, it's a really interesting mix this week.
The charts suggest you need to be wonderfully grounded, but at the exact same time, you are being pushed to be totally expansive.
Which is funny because those two ideas usually fight each other. Being grounded means staying in one safe place, being stable, not moving.
Right, planting your feet.
Exactly. But being expansive means growing, moving outward, reaching for new things, and taking up more room. So it sounds like a very confusing set of instructions.
It really does sound like a trap. Like, how do you do both? So let me offer an easy way to picture this. I want you to think of this week like a tree.
A tree. Okay, walk us through that.
Yeah, so picture a big, heavy, beautiful tree. This week, the data shows you are going to be growing taller. You will be reaching your branches out for exciting new things.
Oh, nice.
Right? Maybe that's a new chance to make money or a sudden brilliant idea at your job. That is the expansive part. Your branches are reaching up to the sun.
But a tree can't just keep reaching up. If it grows too tall without a good base and a strong wind blows through, the whole thing just falls over.
That's the catch. To reach up safely, your roots need to stay firmly planted deep in the dark, quiet dirt. And that is the grounded part.
Right, the roots.
Yeah, you have to take care of your roots this week so your branches can safely grow. If you don't protect that safe base, all that outward growth is just going to drain you. You'll be totally exhausted.
That's a very helpful way to analyze the charts we have for this week. You need the deep roots of rest, quiet time, and smart, careful choices. And if you have those roots, you can easily handle all the exciting growth that the data says is coming your way in your career and your bank account.
So, keeping that tree in mind, let's start at the very beginning. Every week starts somewhere, and for you, Taurus, this week kicks off with a heavy focus on the people around you and your own secret inner feelings.
Yes.
We are looking at Monday, March 16.
And Monday is a very crowded day in the sky. The first major shift we see in the data is that the moon moves into the sign of Pisces.
Okay, let's break that down for someone who might not know what that looks like. The moon goes into Pisces. What does that actually mean for our Taurus listener walking around on Monday morning?
Well, think of the sky like a giant clock, and the planets and the moon are the hands on the clock.
Okay.
As they move, they point to different numbers, or in this case, different zodiac signs. The moon represents our daily moods, our feelings, and our sense of safety.
So it's the feeling hand on the clock.
Exactly. And when the feeling hand points to Pisces, which is a very gentle and dreamy sign, it changes the mood down here on Earth. For a Taurus, this specific placement highlights your friendships and your biggest hopes for a bright future.
Friendships and hopes. That sounds really nice. It sounds very warm.
It is warm, but it's also deeply tied to your physical health this week. The chart suggests that you will benefit greatly from spending quiet time with supportive friends.
I want to pause there because that's an interesting connection. Why does hanging out with friends help your physical health?
It's a fair question.
Because usually when we talk about getting healthy, we talk about drinking more water, eating green vegetables, or, going to the gym. We don't usually think of having a cup of coffee with a friend as a medical choice.
That's a great point. But we often forget that your physical body and your peaceful mind share the exact same space. They are linked together.
Oh, for sure.
And for a Taurus, stress rarely stays in the brain. It almost always shows up in the physical body. When you feel worried or insecure, you might notice your jaw gets super tight, or your shoulders creep up to your ears, or your stomach just hurts.
Yeah, you literally carry the worry around like a heavy backpack.
Yes, exactly. Now, Pisces energy is very gentle. It's a water sign, and water soothes the dry earth. So when you spend quiet, safe time with friends who truly support you, your mind just stops spinning. You stop worrying about the future.
And when the mind relaxes, the physical muscles finally relax.
Precisely. Your nervous system calms down. Your physical body gets a break from all that constant tension. So going for a quiet walk with a loyal friend on March 16 isn't just a nice social thing to do.
Right.
It's exactly what your physical body needs to heal. It's literally a form of medicine for you early in the week.
That makes so much sense when you explain it that way. So we aren't talking about going to a loud, crowded party on Monday night. It's about quiet, safe connection.
Yes. A loud party would completely drain your battery right now. You want the kind of friend where you can just sit on the couch in total silence and still feel completely comfortable.
Now, what about the workplace on Monday? Does this friendly, watery energy spill into the job?
It does, actually. When the moon is in Pisces, the data shows you'll find the most success by working together with your team.
So teamwork is the big key here.
Yes. This is not the day to lock your office door, put your headphones on, and try to solve a big problem all by yourself. You need to bounce your ideas off other people.
Okay.
You'll find that your coworkers are much more supportive and open today. So if you hit a wall with a project, take it to the group. You'll find the answer by acting as a shared unit.
That sounds like a lovely, supportive start to the week. We have healing friend energy and helpful team energy on March 16th. But I'm looking at the notes here, and there's another piece of data for this exact same day, and it sounds a lot more intense.
Ah, yes. You're looking at the transit where Mercury squares Lilith.
I am, and let's unpack this because it sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
So Mercury is the planet that rules how we talk, how we text, and how we think.
Right.
And Lilith is a point in the sky that represents our hidden desires, our deep fears, and all the messy things we usually try to keep buried in the closet.
Yeah, the shadow stuff.
And they are forming a square, which usually means friction, right?
That's a great summary. On March 16th, this friction means you need to communicate your deepest hidden desires to your romantic partner with total honesty.
Total honesty about the things we hide. Wow. That's a terrifying assignment.
It can be very scary. We all have things we want in a relationship or things we fear that we just keep quiet about.
Right, to keep the peace.
Exactly. Maybe you're afraid your partner is working too much and you feel lonely, but you don't want to complain and sound needy. Or maybe you have a deep desire to change how you handle money together, but you avoid bringing it up because you don't want to start an argument.
And a Taurus listener definitely likes to keep the peace. They like stability. They do not want to rock the boat if the boat is floating just fine.
They really don't. So this friction between Mercury and Lilith demands that you speak up. It acts like a bright spotlight shining into a dark closet.
Oh, wow.
It reminds you that true, lasting peace only comes from honest communication. You have to bring those hidden feelings out of the dark and put them on the table. You have to talk about them clearly.
But there is a trap hidden in this energy.
Right.
Because this hidden fear we're talking about also impacts your wallet on March 16th.
It's a very dangerous trap. The data gives a strict warning for financial matters on Monday. You must avoid making any impulsive purchases based on hidden fears.
Okay, I have to jump in and ask a question here because human behavior is just so fascinating to me.
Sure.
What does a fear-based purchase actually look like in the real world? Because nobody walks into a store, picks up an item, and says to the cashier, "Hi, I am buying this because I feel afraid deep inside."
No, they definitely don't. The brain is much more tricky than that. It hides the fear behind logic.
Right. So Think about panic buying. I'm picturing someone going to the grocery store and buying like 50 cans of soup just because they read a scary news article and they're scared the store might run out tomorrow.
That's a very classic example.
Right, that's a clear fear-based purchase. You're scared of not having enough, so you spend money recklessly to build a little wall of soup cans around yourself.
That's a great visual. But for a Taurus, it's usually a lot more subtle. For a Taurus, security is the most important thing in the world.
Okay.
If you feel emotionally insecure on March 16th, maybe because of a weird comment a coworker made, or because you're nervous about that honest conversation you need to have with your partner, you might try to literally buy that feeling of security.
Oh, I see. So you feel bad, you feel wobbly, so you go online and buy a really expensive, heavy winter coat that you don't actually need.
Exact.
But owning a thick, heavy coat makes you feel safe and protected in that exact moment. You're buying emotional armor.
Yes, that is exactly it. Or maybe you feel like your life is out of control, so you go buy $500 worth of plastic organizing bins for your garage.
Oh, I've been there.
Right. You think you're buying organization, but you're really just trying to buy control because you feel scared inside. You are trying to fix a hidden emotional fear by throwing money at it. And the charts are telling you that on March 16th, this trick just won't work. The fear will still be there, and your money will be gone. You will absolutely regret the purchase.
So we have a huge contrast here on Monday.
Yeah.
In your love life, you are supposed to take those hidden fears and desires, look at them in the light, and talk about them honestly with your partner. That is the healthy, mature choice.
Yes. Talk it out. Don't hide it.
But in your financial life, you are supposed to look at those exact same hidden fears and refuse to let them control your credit card. You can't buy your way out of the fear. You just have to sit with the uncomfortable feeling.
That's a brilliant way to frame it. Talk about your fears. Don't shop for them. That is your golden rule for March 16th.
Talk about your fears. Don't shop for them.
Exactly. If you feel an urgent, sudden need to buy something expensive, force yourself to wait at least 3 days.
I love that rule. So Monday is a bit of a heavy emotional day. You're leaning on friends to relax your nervous system. You're talking about secret desires with your partner, and you're guarding your wallet from your own anxiety.
A lot of root work.
It is a lot of root work. But then we move to the middle of the week, and the weather completely changes.
Yes, we look at Wednesday, March 18th, and the cosmic map is entirely different. This is a day of massive surprises and big abundance.
I'm so excited to talk about Wednesday. Let's start with your ruling planet, Taurus. Your ruling planet is Venus, which is the planet that cares about love, beauty, art, and money.
Yes.
And on March 18, Venus squares Jupiter.
And Jupiter is the biggest planet. It's the planet of luck, growth, expansion, and just big, happy events.
The data says this connection brings wonderful abundance and a lot of happiness to your daily life. Your romantic life will be filled with sweet, generous moments.
It really will.
Your heart will expand, making you want to spoil your sweet partner with beautiful gifts and just grand affection.
And it isn't just love either. The charts also show that for your money on this day, you might receive a massive, completely unexpected financial bonus or a totally wonderful gift.
Okay, wait, I have to stop you and push back on something because we just established a rule and now we seem to be breaking it.
Okay, let's hear it.
We just talked about Monday, March 16th, where Mercury squared Lilith. And you said a square means friction, tension, and challenging conversations.
I did say that.
Now on Wednesday, March 18, Venus squares Jupiter. Why is a square suddenly bringing massive financial bonuses and huge joy? I thought a square in astrology was always a roadblock or a problem.
That's a very smart question. You are paying close attention. Usually, yes, a square means tension. It means two planets are meeting at a harsh 90-degree angle.
Right.
They're bumping into each other like two cars arriving at an intersection at the exact same time. But to understand the event, we have to analyze who is actually driving the cars.
Okay, so on Wednesday, the drivers are Venus and Jupiter.
Right. Venus is the planet of sweet things, money, comfort, and love. Jupiter is the planet of giant luck and massive growth.
Okay, I see where this is going.
They're both incredibly happy, positive planets. They want to give you things. So when they clash at that intersection, it isn't a violent fight. It's more like an overload of good things trying to reach you all at once.
An overload, like pouring way too much sugar into your morning coffee.
Exactly. Or imagine being at a birthday party and two different friends bring you a giant chocolate cake at the exact same moment.
Oh, wow.
It is technically a problem, yes, because you only have one stomach and you can't eat two giant cakes. but it's a very good problem to have. It's an overwhelming amount of
That
sweetness.
makes so much sense. So Venus and Jupiter clashing is just so much joy and so much desire to give that you might actually go a little overboard.
Precisely. You'll feel so much pure joy that you'll want to buy everyone you love a beautiful gift. Your heart feels so full it almost hurts. You just want to share your good mood with the world.
And what about this unexpected financial bonus? How does that actually happen on a random Wednesday?
Because Jupiter expands everything it touches, and Venus rules money. So this clash could play out in the real world as your boss suddenly calling you into the office to hand you a bonus check you didn't even ask for.
That would be amazing.
Or maybe an old friend finally pays back a loan you gave them years ago and you completely forgot about it. Or you check an old bank account and just find money sitting there. It's sudden abundance.
And the wild thing is, that isn't even all the good news for March 18. There is another major connection happening right in your own sign of Taurus.
Yes, the sun sextiles Uranus in Taurus.
Let's define these players. Uranus is the planet of sudden changes, rebellion, and brilliant, unexpected surprises.
Yes, it is.
And when it connects with the sun, which represents your core identity, it lights up your professional path and your health in totally unexpected ways.
Let's analyze the work forecast first. The data indicates this connection brings a sudden, completely brilliant idea that will absolutely impress even your strictest bosses.
I want to focus on the word sudden here, because this isn't the kind of idea you get by sitting at your desk, drinking 4 cups of coffee, and staring at a blank computer screen for 5 hours until your brain hurts.
No, Uranus doesn't work on a schedule. Uranus energy is like a lightning bolt. It strikes exactly when it wants to.
So it's that classic moment when you're standing in the warm shower, or you're walking the dog around the block, or maybe you're just driving to the grocery store listening to the radio, and suddenly, boom.
Exactly. Boom.
The perfect answer to a complicated problem at work just drops right into your head out of nowhere.
That is exactly how it feels. And the data shows it will be a brilliant, unique idea. It will be an angle no one else on your team has even thought of.
That's so cool.
And the best part is that your bosses, even the very traditional strict ones who usually hate new things, will be absolutely impressed by your solution.
That's a great feeling. But Uranus is also waking up your health zone on this day. The charts say this beautiful connection will suddenly inspire you to change your daily diet for the better.
This is a very important point for a Taurus listener to grasp. Again, notice the word suddenly and notice the word inspire.
Right. Because usually changing a diet feels like a miserable chore. You read an article in a magazine, you feel guilty about your body, and you force yourself to eat less bread. It's painful, and it feels like a punishment.
But this transit isn't about guilt or pain at all. This is a bright flash of positive inspiration. You might wake up on Wednesday morning and just suddenly crave a bowl of fresh fruit instead of your usual heavy fried breakfast.
Oh, wow.
You won't be forcing it. You will suddenly want to feed your physical body better, cleaner food because you feel so happy and alive from all the other good luck happening that day.
It's a positive change, driven by joy. It's your body telling you exactly what it needs to support all this wonderful growth. Remember our tree analogy from the beginning?
Yes.
This is you suddenly realizing you need to pour clean, fresh water on your roots so your branches can keep reaching up toward the sun.
That's a perfect connection to make. The sudden urge to eat healthy food is just you naturally taking care of your roots. You're giving your tree the fuel it needs.
So Wednesday is huge. Big money, big love, sudden, brilliant work ideas, and a desire to eat fresh, healthy food. It sounds amazing, but also, almost exhausting to process that much good luck in a single 24-hour period.
It is very exciting, but yes, it takes a lot of energy to process joy, which is exactly why the stars shift the mood and the pace on the very next day.
Let's talk about Thursday, March 19. The stars give you a quiet moment to sit down, catch your breath, and actually plan out what you want to do with all this good luck.
On March 19, we have the new moon in the sign of Pisces.
A new moon. We love new moons on this show.
A new moon is always a blank page. If you look up at the night sky during a new moon, it's dark. The old cycle is officially over, the slate is wiped clean, and you get to write a brand new story.
And this specific new moon is in Pisces, which we already learned on Monday is a very gentle, social, and healing sign for a Taurus. The data says this new moon invites you to plant seeds for your social life.
Yes. And it's the perfect time to make a completely new wish for your romantic future.
I really love that phrasing. Making a new wish. It implies that you aren't looking backwards. You aren't holding on to old romantic disappointments or old arguments.
Right.
You are looking at the blank page and asking for exactly what you want moving forward.
Exactly. You leave the past completely behind, and this blank page applies to your work and your money, too. The data shows Thursday, March 19 is an excellent day to safely network and expand your professional contacts.
Okay.
It also asks you to set brand new goals for your long-term savings.
I want to bring in another easy analogy here, building on our tree idea. I'm thinking about the actual act of planting a garden in the spring,
Okay, let's hear it.
because this entire Thursday feels like a Taurus kneeling in the soft dirt, gently putting small seeds into the ground.
That's a very accurate picture of this specific new moon energy.
When you plant a garden, you don't stand there with a watering can, staring at the dirt, expecting the flowers to burst out of the ground 5 minutes later.
No, you don't.
You know it takes time. You are safely placing the seeds in the dirt today so that they can grow weeks or months from now.
Yes, that's the exact patience required. The seeds are your new long-term savings goals. The seeds are the new professional contacts you are making at work. The seeds are the new romantic wish you are putting out into the world. You aren't demanding that these things bloom today. You are just taking the quiet time to plant them correctly and cover them with soil.
And planting takes patience, which is something a grounded Taurus has plenty of. You don't dig the seed up the next day to see if it's growing. You just leave it alone.
A Taurus is perfectly built for this kind of patient, steady work. You understand better than anyone that real security takes time to build. You simply can't rush a strong tree.
But the new moon also has a message for your physical and mental health on Thursday. The data says you should focus entirely on completely healing your spirit through gentle meditation.
This brings us back to that deep need for quiet. You've had a wildly exciting week. You faced your hidden fears on Monday, you had huge surprises and lucky financial breaks on Wednesday, and now you are carefully planning your future on Thursday.
It's a lot.
It is. Your spirit needs a moment of total stillness to digest all of that.
Gentle meditation. And I want to clarify, for a Taurus, meditation doesn't always mean sitting cross-legged on a yoga mat chanting for an hour.
Oh, absolutely not.
It can just be quiet time alone to let your mind settle. It could be knitting or folding laundry or actually reading a real garden, just doing something simple with your hands while the room is quiet.
I often compare it to a glass of muddy water. If you keep shaking the glass, the water stays cloudy.
Oh, that's good.
But if you just set the glass down on a table and leave it alone, eventually the mud sinks to the bottom and the water becomes perfectly clear again. That is what gentle, quiet time does for a busy mind. It lets the mud settle.
And that need for quiet rest becomes even more urgent as we move into Friday, March 20.
March 20 is a major turning point in the week. All that planning, working, and feeling big emotions is exhausting for an earth sign. Right on cue, the stars shift the energy, telling you it is time to go home, rest, and let things fall into place.
2 huge astrological events happen on Friday, March 20. Let's take them one at a time. First, the sun leaves gentle Pisces and enters the fiery sign of Aries.
Now, you might think fire means action. You might think Aries means it's time to run a marathon or start a fight.
Right, usually fire is very active.
But for a Taurus, we have to look at where Aries sits in your specific chart. When the sun enters Aries, it moves into a very hidden, private room in your cosmic house. It means you will seek quiet, peaceful rest.
The data is very clear about this shift. For romance, it says you will want to enjoy highly private, quiet dates at home. For work, you must focus on completing your private tasks quietly behind the scenes. And for your health, you will absolutely need much more sleep than usual to completely restore your natural energy.
You're basically walking into a safe, comfortable cave to recharge your batteries.
Let's talk about what a highly private, quiet date at home looks like for a Taurus. Because I don't think this means just sitting on the couch staring at the wall in total silence.
Oh, not at all. A Taurus loves physical comfort and sensory pleasure. A private date at home means cooking a really wonderful warm meal together with good ingredients.
Huh?
It means putting soft blankets on the couch. It means putting your phones in another room, ignoring your emails, and just being present with your partner in a warm, safe space.
No loud restaurants where you have to yell over the music. No crowded movie theaters. Just safety and comfort behind locked doors.
Yes. And at work, completing private tasks quietly behind the scenes means closing your office door. Or, if you sit at an open desk, it means putting your big headphones on so people leave you alone.
Right.
You don't want to stand up and present big projects in a meeting today. You just want to check off the boxes on your to-do list without anyone interrupting your flow.
And sleep. Needing much more sleep than usual. That is a direct instruction from the charts. Listeners, Do not force yourself to stay up late on Friday night just because it's a Friday.
Please don't.
Go to bed early. Your body is trying to completely restore your natural energy, and it can only do that if you close your eyes and let it rest.
It is the most productive thing you can do on March 20. Sleeping is actually working. In a cosmic sense, you are doing the required root work.
I love that concept. Sleeping is working. Now, there is something very interesting about money on this specific day. The data says when the sun enters Aries, your intuition regarding money will be absolutely perfect.
Yes, your gut feeling about what to do with your finances will be spot on. You will just know what the right move is.
But I want to push back on this, or at least ask you to go deeper. How can a listener actually trust their perfect money intuition?
Okay.
Because on Monday, we talked about hidden fears making you want to panic buy things. And fear can feel a lot like intuition sometimes. It feels like a very strong urge.
It really does.
How do you tell the difference between I should buy this because I am secretly scared and I should move my money here because my perfect intuition says it's a smart choice?
That is a brilliant question. It's the hardest part of astrology, honestly. But the difference is all about how it feels inside your physical body.
Okay, analyze that for us. Paint the picture.
Fear feels frantic. It feels tight and high up in your chest. When you want to make a fear-based purchase, your heart races. You feel rushed, like you have to swipe your credit card right this second or a disaster will strike.
Right.
It feels like an emergency. That's the panic we discussed on Monday with the expensive winter coat.
Exactly. It feels hot and urgent.
But true intuition, especially for a grounded earth sign like a Taurus, feels very different. True intuition feels quiet. It feels heavy, solid, and calm, low down in your stomach. It's a deep knowing that doesn't feel rushed at all. You don't feel like you have to do it in the next 5 seconds. It just feels like a simple, undeniable fact.
So if you're looking at your bank accounts on Friday and you get a calm, solid, unhurried feeling that you should move your savings to a new bank with a better interest rate, that is your perfect intuition talking.
Exactly. If it feels peaceful and solid, trust it. If it feels frantic and tight, wait 3 days.
That is such helpful advice for everyday life.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned there were 2 huge events happening on Friday, March 20. The sun enters Aries, which tells you to rest and trust your gut.
Yes.
But also on March 20, Mercury stops moving backward and finally goes direct.
This is a huge relief. Mercury is the planet of communication, travel, and technology.
Yeah.
When it moves backward, which we call retrograde, everything gets totally mixed up.
Oh, it's the worst.
Texts get misunderstood, checks get lost in the mail, computers crash. Mercury going direct is like someone finally opening a window in a stuffy, hot room. The fresh air rushes in, and suddenly you can breathe clearly again.
Let's look at how this clear air changes your life, starting with your friendships. The data says Mercury going direct completely clears up all your friendship misunderstandings.
Think of it like turning off Do Not Disturb mode on your phone. You know when you turn it off and suddenly a dozen text messages from the last 3 hours all flood in at once and a confusing situation finally makes perfect sense?
Yes.
That's Mercury going direct. If there was a weird text message you sent earlier in the week that your friend took the wrong way, this is the day the confusion disappears. You'll talk it out and you'll both realize it was just a silly mix-up.
And it does the exact same thing for your romantic life. It ensures you and your love understand each other perfectly without any shadows or confusion.
Think back to Monday, when the charts demanded that you share your deep hidden desires with your partner.
Right, that scary conversation.
Exactly. That conversation might have felt messy or awkward. You might have stumbled over your words. Now, on Friday, Mercury moving direct smooths all of that over. The conversation finally clicks into place. Your partner truly understands what you meant, and the bond between you grows deeper.
It's like the static on a phone call finally dropping away, and you can hear the other person's voice perfectly.
Yeah, and this clearing of the static is also incredibly powerful for your work and your money.
The data says at work, Mercury turning direct allows you to finalize important group projects. Remember that brilliant team you were working with on Monday? Now the delays are over. You can finally put the finishing touches on your shared work, present it, and just call it done.
And best of all, for your finances, this forward-moving energy ensures all delayed checks finally clear safely.
Oh, that is the best feeling in the world. Waiting for money to arrive is so stressful. You check your bank app every morning and the balance hasn't changed. You wonder if the check got lost.
It's awful.
But on March 20, the block is removed, the check clears, the money is safely sitting in your account.
And the data literally notes that this specific event completely relieves your stress.
Let's just pause and point out how perfectly these two events on Friday, March 20, line up with each other. Mercury fixes your communication, lets your work finish, and drops the delayed money into your bank account. And all of that means you can finally relax.
Yes.
Which is exactly what the sun moving into Aries is demanding you do.
It's a beautiful design. The stars remove the stressful problems so that you can go home, close the door, and get the deep, peaceful sleep your body desperately needs. You can't rest if you're staring at the ceiling worrying about a missing paycheck. The universe delivers the money, clears the misunderstandings, and basically says, okay, your desk is clean, now go to bed.
Go to bed and sleep deeply. It's a perfect setup for the weekend. And now we move to Saturday and Sunday, March 21 and March 22.
Now that you are well rested from Friday night and your delayed checks have cleared, the weekend brings a rush of secure power.
The weekend starts with a major homecoming. On Saturday, March 21, the moon enters your own sign. The moon enters Taurus.
And we should note that March 21 is actually listed in our data as one of the best dates of the entire week.
When the moon is in your own sign, it feels like wearing your favorite old sweater. You feel like the most authentic version of yourself. You are comfortable in your own skin.
You really are.
All your natural Taurus traits, your love of physical beauty, your need for stability, your practical wisdom, they are all highlighted and respected by the world around you.
You feel emotionally secure. You are standing on solid ground. Your roots, going back to our tree analogy, are healthy, watered, and deep in the dirt.
And because your roots are so strong, you are ready for the massive expansion that hits on Sunday, March 22.
Yes, on March 22, the planet Mars trines Jupiter.
Let's analyze this aspect. Mars is the engine. It's action, energy, pushing forward, and ambition. Jupiter, as we discussed earlier with the cake analogy, is luck and huge growth.
Right.
And a trine is the easiest, most positive connection two planets can make. It's a 120-degree angle. They aren't crashing into each other at an intersection like a square. They are driving side by side on an open highway. They are working together in perfect harmony.
For a Taurus, the data shows this specific connection brings massive total career luck and a fantastic, completely secure financial expansion.
This is a big deal. And notice the word secure. This isn't risky money. This isn't putting all your cash on red at a casino.
No, absolutely not.
This is solid, practical financial growth that you can rely on. Maybe a side business suddenly takes off, or an investment you made months ago suddenly shows steady growth. It's exactly the kind of predictable money a Taurus loves.
It is the reward for the brilliant ideas you had on Wednesday and the careful seeds you planted on Thursday. Now, on Sunday, you see the potential for real, solid growth in your career path.
And March 22 is also listed as one of your best dates of the week. So the weekend is just incredibly powerful. Now, with all this energy moving around, we need to talk about human connections. We need to look at who you should be spending your time with this week and who you should avoid.
The cosmic matchups for this week are very clear in the charts.
Let's start with the positive. Your absolute best match for this wonderfully lucky week is definitely the sign of Virgo.
Yes. Let's analyze why Virgo is your absolute best match right now. It comes down to sharing the exact same practical and grounded approach to daily life.
They are both earth signs. You both have both feet firmly planted on the ground.
Exactly. Remember how on Saturday, March 21, the moon enters Taurus and you just want to feel comfortable and safe? Well, Virgo is the perfect supportive partner to help you enjoy simple, beautiful things.
I am picturing a Saturday afternoon hanging out with a Virgo. You aren't out climbing a steep mountain, and you aren't at a loud, trendy club.
Definitely not.
You are probably at home, brewing a really excellent pot of premium coffee, folding some warm laundry fresh out of the dryer, and just enjoying the quiet peace of a clean, safe house.
That is exactly the vibe. Virgo understands your deep need for physical comfort. They know you don't need grand, crazy gestures or expensive fireworks. They know exactly how to provide the loyal, steady affection you crave.
And when Sunday rolls around, and that Mars and Jupiter energy brings career luck and financial growth, you and Virgo handle it perfectly together.
Yes, the data says you both completely thrive on that expansive energy because you both want the same practical things, like a healthy savings account and a nice home. Your shared goals become very successful. Together, you create an unstoppable team.
An unstoppable team. You support each other's roots so you can both grow your branches. But not everyone is going to support your roots this week.
No. There is a strict warning in the data. You have a worst match for this week, and it is the sign of Sagittarius.
Okay, we need to ask who we are avoiding and why. What is going on with Sagittarius this week that makes them so dangerous for a Taurus?
The data warns that you will find it completely impossible to find any common ground with Sagittarius during this fast-paced week.
Impossible. Those are strong words. Let's analyze why the clash is so bad.
Think back to Friday, March 20. The sun entered Aries, and we said you deeply desire quiet, peaceful rest. You need sleep. You want to hide in your comfortable cave and lock the door.
Right. My phone is turned off, my blanket is warm, and I am not moving from the couch.
Well, Sagittarius is a fire sign, and on that exact same day, Sagittarius wants to travel loudly and boldly, conquer the wide world.
Oh, no.
They are full of restless fire. They want to be on the move, they want to talk loudly, see new things, and drag you out of your safe, quiet home.
That sounds absolutely miserable for a tired Taurus.
Yeah.
Their restless energy will completely frustrate your deep need for calm stability. You just want to take a nap, and they are packing a suitcase and asking you to run to the airport.
It creates a massive clash of needs. One person wants to stop, the other person wants to sprint. But it gets worse, especially if we look back at Wednesday, March 18th.
18th? That was the day Venus squared Jupiter. Huge joy, an overload of good things, a desire to give big gifts, and unexpected financial luck.
Yes. Now, we said you might be tempted to go a little overboard with gifts on that day because you feel so happy. But you are still a Taurus. You still have a natural safety net. You will still demand strict caution at the end of the day. You will still want to protect your long-term security.
Right. I mean, I might buy a very nice dinner for my partner, but I'm not going to empty my entire bank account. I know where the limit is.
A Sagittarius does not see the limit. The intense energy of Venus squaring Jupiter will trigger massive arguments between you two.
I can imagine.
Because a Sagittarius will feel that lucky energy and act completely recklessly. They will want to throw all caution to the wind while you are demanding strict boundaries to stay safe.
I can see that fight so clearly. The Taurus gets a bonus check and says, let's put 80% of this unexpected bonus into the high-yield savings account we planted on Thursday. And the Sagittarius says, no, let's use all of it to buy first-class plane tickets to an island right now.
Exactly. Their loud, unpredictable moods will deeply disturb your peace. They are the strong wind that will blow your tree over if your roots aren't deep enough.
So the advice here is very clear. It is absolutely best to completely avoid their heavy, exhausting, wild energy safely and entirely. Just say no. If a Sagittarius calls you on Friday night to go out on an adventure, let it go straight to voicemail.
Protect your peace. Stick with your Virgo friends and partners this week. You need the stability.
Okay, we have covered the day-by-day movements, the planet transits, the psychology of fear spending, the matches, and the warnings. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure the listener has their lucky toolkit for the week.
We have some specific extra details in the data to help you attract the best energy.
Let's start with the color of the week. For you, Taurus, your lucky color is green. And the data actually gives us the specific shade. It is color code #008000.
That specific code is a very strong, solid, traditional green. Think of a healthy, bright green leaf on a strong oak tree, or the crisp green of a fresh dollar bill. It represents growth, money, and solid, reliable health.
So wear a dark green shirt on Wednesday when you pitch that sudden brilliant idea to your strict boss. Or put a green plant on your desk while you quietly finish your tasks on Friday.
Yes, surround yourself with that specific color to remind yourself of your grounded roots and your expansive branches.
We also have your lucky numbers for the week. If you need to pick a date, choose a seat row, or pick a number for any reason, keep these in mind: 4, 12, 24, 36, 48, and 52.
Notice how stable all those numbers are. They are all even numbers. They're all multiples of 4.
Oh, that's true.
This is tied directly to your need for practical, secure, stable energy. Even numbers always have a partner. They aren't standing alone. Nothing odd or unpredictable, just solid, even balance.
I love how even the math reflects the Taurus personality. And let's quickly repeat your best dates for the week so you can circle them on your calendar. Your lucky days are Wednesday, March 18, Saturday, March 21, and Sunday, March 22.
March 18 brings the sudden surprises, the brilliant ideas, and the big money bonus. March 21 is when the moon enters your sign, bringing deep emotional comfort and peace. And March 22 brings the career luck and secure financial expansion on the open highway.
Those are the days to take action, accept the gifts, and enjoy the joy. And the days in between, like Thursday and Friday, are for resting, planting seeds, and healing your spirit so you can handle the busy days.
It really is a beautifully balanced week if you follow the rhythm the stars have laid out on the map.
It truly is. Okay, as we bring our analysis to a close, we always like to leave you with one final thought, something for you to chew on as you walk out your front door and face the week.
And looking at the data for this entire week, there is a very powerful question you need to ask yourself.
We started the week on Monday, March 16th, with a strong warning to avoid impulsive purchases that were based on hidden fears. We talked about how you can't buy security with a credit card when you are feeling anxious inside.
And then we saw how on Friday, March 20, the universe steps in to help solve the problem naturally. The sun in Aries makes your gut intuition regarding money perfect.
Right.
And Mercury turning direct clears the path so your delayed checks finally arrive safely, totally relieving your stress.
Your intuition is perfect on Friday, the money is secure, and Sunday brings even more financial growth. You have nothing to fear by the end of the week. The universe has provided the safety you're looking for.
So, knowing that your roots are safe and secure by the weekend, the question for you is this. What old, fear-based money habit are you finally ready to leave behind forever?
What a question. If you don't have to panic buy heavy winter coats in the spring anymore to feel safe, what kind of beautiful, healthy tree are you going to grow instead? Think about it, Taurus. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this episode on Horoscope TV.
We hope this analysis helps you build a strong, successful, and beautifully peaceful week.
If you enjoyed our conversation today, please subscribe so you can get notified when the next episode is available. Take care of your roots, and we'll see you next time.